name is Liesel Altengeest. I'm a lecturer here at the School for Financial Planning Law, and we are here today for a nice informal chat with Hendrik Crawford and Karen White. They are the facilitators of our short course that we are presenting for the School for Financial Planning Law for financial coaching. So hello Hendrik, hello Karen, I hope you have your coffee ready. We're going to have a nice chat and talk about why this is an important course for every financial advisor to have in their arsenal of skills.
Thanks, Liesel. Nice to be here, and I do have my coffee.
Thanks, Liesel. Really a nice opportunity to chat, and also Karen, and I have also got my coffee.
Okay, so let's start with you, Hendrik, and let's just ask the question, what does the world of financial planning look like today?
I think, Liesel, we still have a little bit of everything in terms of financial planning. We've still got planners that's very much sales orientated. Then the world definitely advanced, and the School for Financial Planning Law definitely contributed largely with CFP, bringing professionalism and technical skills for financial planners. So that to say we've got the most probably good salespeople that's helping clients out there. We've got technical people that combine the skills of sales. However, with all the flux in the world, financial markets, politics, etc., influencing our clients, we definitely need a portion of behavioral science behind our clients to help our clients in terms of making very good decisions, in terms of taking their own way of looking at the financial world into consideration.
Okay, thank you, Hendrik. How would you say today is different from the past? And what do you think is going to be demanded from a good financial advisor in the future?
I think, Liesel, if we look at our clients' financial state at this point in time, in the last Momentum UNISA Financial Wellness Index shows us that only 23% of our clients in South Africa is financially well. So that tells me, although we do a lot of financial planning, our clients hasn't got the right skills, but also research shows us don't have the right behavior of engaging with their finances. So I think there's a large portion with advisors can no longer just bring a product to clients and secondly bring a financial plan to clients, but they need to guide the client, firstly of understanding their own goals and their own dreams, and secondly also then to challenge them on achieving those goals at the end of the day, because there is a big gap between what clients want and what they actually get. So that behavioral gap needs to be addressed by financial advisors and making sure to protect themselves against their own behavior.
Okay, great. Now, Karen, I just want to move over to you. What would you say is the top 5 skills that a financial advisor should master?
Well, I think picking up on what Hendrik said, you know, at the end of the day, with the world being in a state of flux and with clients actually not knowing where to move, and sometimes for financial advisors not knowing where to move, if it's okay with you, I'm going to zoom out for a moment before we look at skills, which is really important. But one of the things is that that's really important, given that there's so much information out there, is the financial advisor really needs to be a master of themselves, first and foremost. So they've got to understand what makes them tick so that they can actually tap into what makes their clients tick. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So I think a key part of that, because we can't learn about everything out there. So we've got to actually generate our own learning about ourselves and then choose what we engage with in the world. And I think if financial advisors are able to know that about themselves and then know where to cherry pick, that's a really key foundational area. And then I think it's about really being able to tune into what matters for the client. Because in order to be influential, you've got to know that. So the first thing I think that is crucial and is the most underrated skill, I think, in leadership, with financial advisors and in life generally, is listening. So listening to what really matters for the client, what's important for them, what keeps them up at night, and really be able to find that out, because they might not even know that. So, and that's where the listening piece becomes really important. I think the other thing is, it's one thing to have built trust with clients over a period of many, many years. I think a key skill is knowing how to build trust quickly. So, and it links back to listening. It's about what's the nature of the conversations that you have with your clients right at the get-go, so right from the beginning, and then how do you keep having effective conversations with your clients that get you both the results that you want. And our conversations and our relationships and our listening, believe it or not, come from our moods. So understanding, and I'm not talking about emotions that fluctuate throughout the day. We actually have moods that live sort of deep in the background of our awareness and will often announce themselves when things are not going so well. So the first thing is for financial advisors and for all of us, I believe, to understand our moods, and the moods that have us at our best and the moods that don't have us at our best. And then to be able to manage our moods ahead of meeting people, and while in meetings, perhaps something happens with the client and there was an expectation, for example, that a deal was going to be sealed and it's not sealed. How the financial advisor is in that moment and post that plays a crucial role in determining how that relationship will continue or not. So I'd say that's the next one. Language, we think of language in a way, we just use language because we arrive in the world, and before we know what we're doing with language, we're using it. And actually there are key aspects to language that we can pay attention to and that are going to help us achieve better results, build trust, help demonstrate that we're listening to our clients. So understanding what sits behind language and how to use it differently, I think, is really, really important. And I love when I work with people, seeing how they start to understand how they can make more effective requests and what changes for them in terms of, for example, time management or how they can delegate. And I think for financial advisors, if they're going to deliver to the client, knowing how to speak to the client and make effective requests and make sure that there's an understanding, a shared understanding of what's required, is really important.
Carolyn, perhaps if I can interrupt at this point in time, just from language, I was thinking how important that is. Also, if you just think of all the flux and the news and markets, etc., the assumptions and assessments we make about that and how that influences us, and how little of that is actually how little of our decisions we actually made is based on grounded assessment or true assessments out there. How much we actually know is actually just noise influencing us, and how we make key decisions around that, and the importance of us as advisors as well as our clients to have that skill to see how our moods and our language influence us. Just a thought that came by.
I think it's a great point, and I love that you interjected and brought that in. And I think one of the things, perhaps just to point to around moods, our moods will determine the language that's available to us or not. And I think with what you're saying, with this continual state of flux, not being able to clear on what's fact and what's not fact, there's an increasing mood of anxiety in people's worlds. And so to help them be able to discern what's factual, what's not factual, becomes really important, as well as being able to actually live from moods that have us able to do that. So that's
so true. Thanks.
Yeah. And I think the last thing to say, and then Liesl, any questions that you have or any comments, is we don't pay attention to our physiology, our body. And for change and for us to be able to listen and for anything to actually happen, it's not just the brain. So neuroscience has gained great ground, and it's fantastic. It actually is our whole nervous system that determines how we perceive the world. And how the one way of thinking about it is not as the world out there, but how the world shows up for us. So, and there's a very strong link again to moods. So what we're very interested in is helping people work with those three areas, their physiology, their moods, and language, which we can work with sort of separately, but they're totally interrelated. And a shift in our physiology can result in a shift in our moods and a shift in what language is available to us. So that's really, really important. And the last thing I'm going to say, and then I'll be quiet, is that if you think about leadership presence, and financial advisors want leadership presence, it doesn't come from our thoughts. It comes from how we arrive to meetings with our body, with a sense of being settled in our body. So paying attention to our physiology is a really important piece that we bring in with ontological coaching as well.